Hello and welcome back to the channel of nonsense. In today's video I want to talk about the concept of time in relation to the motor vehicle, because the Golf GTI is 45 years old now. Has it really improved in 45 years? I mean, obviously it's got faster, it's got more comfortable, it's got less crashy and a bit safer. But as a driver, is today's 300 horsepower Golf GTI actually better than the original from 1970, whatever 45 years ago was? I'm crap at maths. So anyway, I'm going to drive the very first Golf GTI, well, a 1983 model, the Mk1, and I'm going to back-to-back it with the latest GTI Clubsport 45 thing, the 45th anniversary version. We're all singing, all dancing, all powerful, to see if things have actually really moved on. Let's get cracking. Here it is then, where it all began 45 years ago. This is actually a later 1983 car with a 1.8 litre engine, 112 horsepower, 147 newton meters of torque. But that's still good for 0 to 62 in 8.2 seconds. It must have felt like a rocket ship in the 80s, it's ridiculous. Now, because this is a late 1983 car, it's a Pirelli special edition, which means you get these cool Pirelli wheels with the P's around it. Really quite like that, it's quite cool. It's just so small compared to the modern one. That's the real difference when you kind of get a modern one next to this. This is just dinky, because obviously it doesn't have any crash protection stuff like the modern one, and obviously cars have just got bigger. But look at the size of that rear window. It's huge. It's like being in a greenhouse. Right, let's check the inside. Now, because this is a Pirelli special edition, you don't actually get the iconic tartan seats. You do get the classic dimpled golf ball-esque gear knob though, gauges, clocks, voltmeter down there, and the most exquisite dashboard. Look at that. So basic yet so cool. Infotainment leaves something to be desired with the Blaupunkt system, but it's got a tape deck. What more do you need, really? Anyway, I'm going to stop waffling, take it for a drive and see how it feels in 2021. Right, let's go for a drive in a car that is 2 years older than me. It starts with a key thing. Straight away, despite the fact it is an old car, it feels easy to drive, like a Golf has always been easy to drive. I mean, my mum could drive this. I mean, my mum's old. Hang on, I shouldn't be mean about my mum. It just feels so small. Brilliant. Okay, I'm gonna let it warm up a bit, get out on some twisty roads, and see how we get on. Is the Mk1 GTI fast? I'm going from 30 to 60. Rev limiter. That's 60! That wasn't that slow, was it? That's because this car weighs about 850 kilos. It's a proper lightweight by today's standards. And it feels it when you're driving it. The steering, it's not super direct, it's got some of the old school woolliness about the middle, but the way it turns is just like, it feels light on its springs. The brakes are, yeah, the brakes are mediocre, but that's just old car stuff. The gearbox though, it's a long throw and it's quite far away from you, but it's really enjoyable, and the throttle response is instant, so you just give it a good old blip, slot it down from third into second, and you feel like a hero, even though you're only doing 30 miles an hour. It's really cool. I have to say, I've just driven this around a country estate for a bit to get used to it, and I was paying a lot more attention to everything than I've paid in a car for a very long time. It's very involving, just making sure you're getting the gears right and you're steering while you're moving, doing your maneuvering, because there's no power steering, and it's just very involving, and I quite like it. And as we've just proved, it's not actually deathly slow by today's standards. I mean, 8.2 seconds to 60, that's what I would call brisk if I was doing a modern car review. The dash is super simple, super clear. Obviously everything's analog. Some cool 80s LED warning lights that look like a PCB my dad wired up in tech class, I don't know, 30, 40 years ago. The clock, the digital clock, would be quite advanced if it wasn't missing some of the digits. But yeah, so far, I really like this. One, I'm stuck behind a horse box full of sheep, Might as well tell you about the visibility. It's hilariously good. The A-pillars, I've seen thicker pubic hairs, frankly. They are so thin. Likewise the B and the C pillars. The rear window basically makes you feel like you can see the back tyres. And the mirrors all show a massive view out. I mean, it's dead easy to drive once you're on the move. The only thing that makes you feel like you're in an old car is the steering when you're at slow speeds, because it just gets really heavy. Other than that, I don't really feel like the act of driving has moved on massively. Right, twisty, bumpy country lane time. I'd say the engine isn't especially vocal, it just kind of thrums away in the background. It's not a rev-hungry monster, although it does rev to over 6,000, but that's kind of what a modern engine does. In fact, I think the new turbocharged one probably revs higher. Ugh, braking, the brakes are bad. The pedals, I'm struggling to heel and toe a little bit, but you know, that's more of a modern thing, isn't it? So you have to do your braking well in advance, blip those downshifts. Where's the gear knob gone? There we go. Let's leave it in third. Chuck it in. You've actually got a really good amount of feel through the wheel, but only when you start pushing it, you can feel the front tyres starting to lose grip a little bit. I mean, on a sunny day like today, I like to think that I'm somewhere in West Germany on the way to pick up my girlfriend Hansel to go to Das Kino or something. It's lovely, or to just go and eat some sausages in a field somewhere and have a picnic. It's one of those cars that puts you in a nice frame of mind. It's very characterful. It's just nice to drive something a bit different, and it is a solid reminder that old cars aren't naturally just worse than new ones. Not always. Sometimes yes, and the brakes are bad, but I could have a lot of fun in this, and I am having a lot of fun in this. Let's cut to the new GTI and see if it's more fun as well as just being technologically much more advanced. Oh, there's a corner, brake. Right, fast forward 45 years and this is what the pinnacle of Golf GTI looks like in 2021. This is the Clubsport 45, built to celebrate 45 years of the GTI. This one has basically almost 3 times the power, 300 horsepower, so we're up from 112, and 400 newton meters of torque, which is loads automatic gearbox only. So the manual, that stick thing, has gone. But instead this car has a louder Krapovich exhaust, GTI badges, all the latest driver tech. We'll see if the infotainment system's better than the one from 1983, because I don't think it is. But I want to find out if this is actually any more fun for 45 years of progress. And I don't know what the answer is yet, so I'm going to be winging this. There's the interior, a lot more plush, a lot more nicely trimmed, metal bits, leather bits, cloth bits. Now, the old GTI cost 22 grand when adjusted for inflation. This is basically double that. So let's see how we go. Driving time. Right, 45 years has happened and cars feel very different now. I've got an automatic gearbox. I've got a much worse view out all round, although it's reasonable by modern standards. The steering is much more direct. I don't have to turn the wheel as much, and the brakes are pin sharp, and everything feels quite a bit more confidence inspiring. I have to say though, I do miss the massive glass house of the Mk1 GTI that I drove a minute ago, because I could see everything much more clearly. Here I kind of feel a bit more like I'm in a tank peering out of a slit. I also want to apologise for the audio in the Mk1 GTI bit. I've just realised my GoPro wasn't taking the mic properly. It's screwed. GoPro, you have one job, to make GoPros that work, and you've failed for the past 8 years, you bastards. But anyway, the car. I have a mode button. I want to put it in a sport mode. Yeah. That's 60 miles an hour. That is a hell of a lot faster than the original GTI. Obviously, this is a much more serious car. I've got an electrically controlled mechanical limited slip diff between the front wheels, because now I've got 400 newton meters of torque. It just wants to spin the wheels, and that mechanical diff really does help drag you out the corners and gives you more of a sporty drive. Yeah. This feels nothing like the Mark 1. I could sit here and be like, well, I see the Golf lineage shot through because I've got, actually there's nothing I recognise from the Mark 1 Golf GTI in here because it's not a manual. I don't even have the dimpled gear knob of joy that motoring journalists like to froth themselves into a lather over. No, there's nothing in here really from the Mark 1 GTI. This would feel like a Passat or something huge if this was taken back to 1983. Obviously, it's a good car and it's one of the best hot hatches I think you can buy today. But let's go on some twisty roads and find out why. If you want one sign that the Golf has got a lot more serious, it's the fact that I'm in a special Nürburgring driving mode, which sharpens everything up, stiffens the suspension, and makes it bounce off bumps in a way that the Mark 1 doesn't. But oh my God, I'm already going faster than I ever did in the Mark 1. I'm going around corners as if they weren't there. I'm not worrying about winding on more lock or having slow steering. I'm not worried if there's something coming around the corner the other way on the wrong side of the road because the brakes are bloody phenomenal. You've got massive drilled discs on this 45 one, and yeah, I mean, it covers ground a hell of a lot more quickly. That DSG gearbox, give me a little pops on the downshift out the Akrapovic exhaust. Things getting a bit bouncy here, but everything's kind of tied down and in control, and it is exciting. Now, to drive that section quickly in the Mark 1 GTI was a lot more involving, but that doesn't mean that it's better, I don't think. I've got an automatic gearbox now. Because you're going so fast, changing gear is kind of, that's brain space I don't have. So the involvement has switched from the actual act of driving to really the act of staying on the road and in control. It's kind of, it's different. It's not better or worse. I think the Mark 1 for me is a more charming and enjoyable thing, but that doesn't diminish from the amazing technical aptitude of the latest GTI, the Clubsport. Because this thing's a rocket ship, and cars have just matured to the point now where they're more tied down, faster, bigger, heavier, harder to see out of, and more high tech. Don't get me started on the infotainment system. I think I'm on record as saying that is worse than syphilis. But yeah, it's just a different kind of fun, and this will go around corners sideways on three wheels in a way you would never feel confident to in a Mark 1 GTI, at least not if you value your body panels. Anyway, back to you, Tim, for an outro. Hopefully your audio's better. GoPro bastards. Right, so what is the conclusion then of old GTI versus new GTI? Well, it's kind of hard to call really. The old one is more involving at normal speeds, and obviously cars have got faster, and the new one is an absolute rocket ship, and it's a brilliant hot hatch. It's kind of an unfair thing to really draw a massive conclusion though, because the GTI has basically always been a fun car, and we've just proven that fun old cars are still as fun as fun new cars. And I know that's not much of a conclusion, but basically I think it goes to show Volkswagen nailed the recipe with the very first Golf GTI, and they've just improved upon it year on year, apart from the Mark IV, that's down there hiding its head in shame. But yeah, the old car, absolutely brilliant. I'd love to own one as much as I would a new GTI, to be honest. And I feel like a bit of an old man now because I kind of would rather buy the Mark 1 than the new one. It's just different to everything that I drive day in, day out, whereas the new GTI, although it's brilliant, you could get in an S3 or an i30N and have a similar experience, but that old school, old car feeling, it's gone, and obviously the only way to get it is to buy an old car. So there we go. Inconclusive conclusion. What a load of waffle. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Call me a bald idiot in the comments, and I'll see you next time.